We are living single. Ooh, in the 90s kind of world. I'm
Living
glad I got
single.
my girls.
This so threw it back.
But you know that one, right?
Living single? Yes, I do know Living Single. I did not finish the whole series though. But I know Living Single.
We got some things to talk about with this friendship. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to your
Hi,
husband's podcast. I'm your girl, Court.
I'm Kim.
And this is the podcast where we talk all book shit.
Oh, book shit.
Sometimes we get sidetracked, but all book shit for the most part.
Sometimes?
Oh, man.
Girl. Today's an interesting episode.
It is.
It's relevant to the time, I feel.
It is because it's spooky season.
Spooky season.
Hence my sweatshirt, whatever. But
Spooky season. And this is
season.
a genre I like.
You like spooky season?
No, baby, I like dystopian.
Yes.
Give
and
me dread and despair.
She does like dystopian, and I
Uh-huh.
like horror.
Mm-hmm.
So this episode is about Stephen King.
Yay!
I'm so excited.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. I know Courtney's read a couple of his books in the past.
Yes.
I'm brand new to the writer, Stephen King. This is my first one.
So this is my fourth one of his. So
I didn't know it was 4, girl.
I think I feel like I'm forgetting one, but the first one I started, it didn't finish. Well, I don't even know why I picked it up, but anyways, it was Fairy Tale. And this one is not that old. I think it maybe 2 or 3 years old.
Okay.
And it's a really thick book. Like if you have the physical copy, it's like 600 pages.
She's
But
thick.
but I don't know. I got it just because I heard really good things about it. But I knew that he was like the king of horror, so I was bracing myself for some horror in the book. But it's more fantasy. I mean, it's more like a fairy tale, kind of, sort of. So I was just like, okay, cool. But I don't know. I guess I think I got maybe 350 pages in, and I was just kind of like, oh, it's a little too fantasy for me now, and I don't like fantasy. So
That's
why
not one
I
of the more
stopped.
notable titles, I guess we can call it. I don't know that one.
The man has so many books; it's
He
ridiculous.
does.
He
Yeah,
like
I'll give you that much.
because
Yeah.
he's written a lot of books in his life, and he's in his late 70s now.
Mm.
But I read that one, and then the next one that I read was The Shining. Now I listened to The Shining, and I did that in like 36 hours. I don't know why, because it wasn't my favorite, but I read it fast. But I've never seen the movie.
Okay.
But I do hear that the endings are very
Different.
different. And then the
I feel
one
like
that
that's
I
a common
read,
theme with Steven. People be switching
right,
his endings up a lot.
right, and the last one that I just recently read before the one that we're going to talk about today is called Finders Keepers. That was a flat out horror book, but I mean, it was. I listened to that one as well, and it was pretty good. And it wasn't too long, maybe 13 hours,
Okay.
which is good for him because another thing Stephen King is known for is having long, very very long books.
He sure does.
Like The Stand is really long, and it is really long. I know
Yeah,
there's some
it
more
is
that are longer,
long.
but those are long.
It the book, not it the stand. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Oh. I feel like that's a reference I should understand, but I
No,
don't.
no. I'm just being weird.
You're weird.
That sidetrack thing she mentioned. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've read those three Stephen King books, and then as far as movies, there's one that we will talk about today, but the other one that I've watched is yeah, Shaw, Shank Redemption. It's
There we
like a
go.
tongue twister right there. So I saw that for the first time about a year ago, but I liked it. It was pretty good. I didn't feel scared.
Pop off.
Yeah, I didn't feel scared.
Okay. That's actually one of his most notable works. So
That one was really
that
good.
one's a huge one. Yeah.
Have you seen any?
Um, again, I've never read a Stephen King book. I just want to preface that, but I'm not a stranger to some of his movies. Obviously, I've watched like It, and I've watched The Mist many years ago, and things like that. But overall, I guess I have strayed away from his type of writing because some of it is a little, I guess, puts women on the back burner, kind of, sort of. So that's why I've never really been
Is that what he did in It and The Mist?
in the books.
Mm-hmm.
Not the book, not the Mist, not the Mist. But I only saw the movie there.
Okay.
But just
Oh,
little
you
things.
read it too.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
I got general story things before I watched the movie. I wanted to know the general thing of like what all this world encompasses. They talked a lot about the book.
yeah.
And there's like in the book, there's like a whole scene where like the five boys, they go at it
Yeah.
with the one girl and things like that. And, I'm just like, okay, fascinating.
Yeah.
But overall, I'm open and I do feel like I after this read, I feel like I will definitely revisit Stephen King just simply because the man the man is such a long tenured dedicated author. I
Yeah.
feel like we can't put all of his stories and books into one little pocket,
Yeah.
I feel like you just mentioned a few, Shawshank Redemption, The Shining, so it even the
Yeah.
movie based, yes, but all of them, I feel like it's all very different. He just has one general genre that he kind of tries to hop around in.
Mhm.
So I think I'm definitely going to revisit him because he's just such a powerhouse of an author. But overall, that's why I've kind of leaned away from it.
Yeah.
But I'm open to reading more and for suggestions and everything like that. So yeah,
I know I'm gonna read Misery
Misery.
in the wintertime
I hear
because it
that's one of his most notable works as well.
yeah, and I was about to say I tend to like to read books that if it's set in a certain season, I want to like read it during
Oh,
that
that's
season. And so
cute.
I think Misery falls under winter by looking at the cover at least and just from different things that I've heard. So,
I mean, I know that's like one of his big titles.
yeah,
So you probably aren't going to go wrong there if I'm being honest.
probably not.
Yeah, girl. So even though we're going to be talking about Stephen King today, we
Yes.
are reading a book under the pseudonym
Yes.
Mr. Richard Bachman. I know a lot of Stephen King fans really gravitate to that name, the Bachman books, things like that, because today we're reading The Long Walk.
The Long
Show 'em,
Walk.
baby. The Long
The
Walk.
Long Walk.
We decided to gravitate towards this book because we heard the movie was coming out
Yeah.
in the month of September. So we were
And it
just
was
like,
something that both of us hadn't read or
yeah,
watched, obviously. So we were like, yeah, let's do it.
it's like the perfect
Buddy
little
read
buddy
for
read.
spooky season.
Buddy read for spooky season. I get a little bit of dystopian. She gets a little bit of, would you consider this horror?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the things that happen in the book are horrible.
Yeah, I was about to say, I mean, if you look up the genre for this book, I think it will say it's more of a dystopian thriller.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I guess I can see dystopian thriller, but I mean, if someone told me that this was in the horror category as well, I guess that wouldn't surprise me either. I mean, it
Okay.
could be a mix of horror thriller.
It's a little bit of all.
Yeah.
I do gravitate more towards the word thriller though.
Yeah.
Over horror, I feel.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The horror is some of the things you see in that movie, but
Mm.
all right.
We also watched the movie.
We did.
So obviously you're going to get tons of commentation about the movie as well throughout the discussion today, I feel.
Yes.
Yay. Just a quick little background on The Long Walk. It was published in 1979. Stephen King's first published book was Carrie, but he wrote this one, The Long Walk, when he was 19 years old, right in between the years of 1966, 1967. I guess he didn't get any publishing because at that point he was still Richard Bachman.
Right, yeah.
Until he was discovered, and that probably pissed him off. So
Yeah.
it eventually got its release date. But I after doing a little bit of research, the reason he decided to do the whole Richard Bachman thing,
Mhm.
other than being able to do more experimental, like we can call it more experimental, kind of more like, I don't want to call it drastic, but let's just call it more experimental works.
Yeah.
Even though I feel like all his stuff is experimental. His publishing company told him that he can't publish so many books in one. So the motherfucker just made a person up just because he wanted to keep writing.
Yeah.
So that was like a fun fact regarding the persona of Richard Bachman.
Yeah.
He eventually killed him off. The man, I'm not surprised. It's Stephen
Yeah.
King. So yeah. So that's just a little background on our author for today and the book we're going to be reading. Do
Yes,
you want me to go
yes.
ahead and do like the little synopsis of the book?
Yes. Also,
yeah.
side note, I would love to visit the house that he has in Maine because I believe he's from Maine. I think a good amount of his books take place either in Maine or near Maine.
Yes.
And I would just love to go visit it one day.
I
Never flown to Maine or anything.
I'm always
but
down.
Yeah.
Maine looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. Like
Oh, like it looks from the
Yes.
pictures you haven't been.
Yes. I've
Okay.
not been. No, 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 no. I have not been to Maine, but from the pictures, it looks really pretty.
Okay.
Very like coastal type vibe type of things, you know.
Ooh, we can go have lobster or something.
I'm allergic to shellfish, but sure.
Okay, we'll go
I'll
ahead and
watch you
not
eat
eat
the
that.
lobster and
Mm.
I'll eat whatever else they have on the menu.
Okay.
I'm a
Okay.
flexible person. Okay.
Kick
Let,
it off.
quick little spiel about the long walk here. All right. We follow our main character, Ray Garrity. It is set in a dystopian, militarized
Mhm.
world. I guess we can consider it. The Long Walk is an annual competition where 100 boys, 50 in the movie, thank God they changed that,
Yeah.
enter a walking competition where they must walk 4 miles per hour.
Mhm.
Very unrealistic. Stephen
Mhm.
King made them change it for the movie, by the way. I saw an interview. He made them change. He was happy that they changed it to 3 miles an hour in the movie because
Okay.
it's more
Okay.
realistic. And I agree. I
Yeah.
100% agree. But walk at a minimum of 4 miles per hour. If they slow or get below speed, they get
Mhm.
three warnings. After
Mhm.
the third warning, you get your what they call in the book your ticket, which just means execution.
Pretty much. But I think I don't know
Crazy.
exactly how long you have to walk, but
2 minutes.
you can walk your warning off.
Oh yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. You facts. The warnings are, I think, between like a 2 minute time span, but
Mhm.
after an hour, you walk the warning off.
Yeah.
Imagine having to walk 3 hours
Yeah.
to walk three warnings off. Boy, I know by the end of the book, the boys had walked like over 300 miles.
This is the thing, and I'm wondering this for the movie and for the book. So, let's say, I don't know, let's just say we're at 90 boys left, okay?
Hmm.
And so obviously there are soldiers in the back of the line.
Yeah.
And I guess there are soldiers somewhere in the front of the line,
Okay.
maybe. I
I
don't
think
know.
so.
But then I guess also, I mean, all the boys are not walking the same speed. They're probably all walking together to begin with, but then they probably, I don't know, kind of start to stagger. Like, how are these soldiers keeping their eyes on everyone in between too
Well, I know
to
the
to execute them?
the way they did it
How?
in the movie was they had like they're not Apple Watches, but they were look like Apple Watches.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that I don't know. I mean, they had computers in the book.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the computers were the things that like took their tickets at the beginning.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming Steven just probably said they can figure it out.
Maybe so. I don't
Yeah.
know. I was wondering
Oh,
about
also no,
that.
think about it. The military, the vehicles behind them are probably also going 3 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So, oh no, sorry, 4 miles an hour, book version. Four
Yeah.
miles an hour, book version. So if you're falling close to these military vehicles, I'm
Hmm.
assuming that's how they're gauging it, because it's
Yeah.
probably that hole probably set into cruise control at 4 miles per hour.
Another thing that I was wondering, I was like, okay, do they take a break for, like, do they take a water break, eating break? Do they take potty break? But when I watched the movie, I was like, okay, well, I could see them, requesting the snacks or the food to be brought to them, and then I they took that potty break on their warning times and had to hurry up and pull up their pants and keep going. So I was like, okay, cool, can't stop for anything, no,
Can't
no
stop
nothing.
for anything.
So
The fascinating thing about this is the boys sign up for the walk knowing what their fate could potentially be.
right.
So that is one thing that really sets the book up with high stakes from the beginning.
Hmm.
So I guess throughout the book, we do follow of a main group of boys. Obviously, there's 100.
Yeah.
We're not going to learn about all 100 of these people. But just to kind of cover the main like group, we'll go ahead and just kind of name them off. Ray Garrity, he is our lead, and
Hmm.
his friend, we have Peter McVries, Art Baker, Hank Olson,
Hmm.
Stebbins, Barkovich, which happens to be the antagonist.
Hmm.
Barkovich is a hoot and a half, my God. But he made for some memorable moments in the book. So I obviously understand why
Yeah.
an antagonist is always gonna have to be written in. Stebbins was more or less an antagonist as well, but he just kind of was creepy in the background, you know?
Yeah.
Barkovich was just a straight up antagonist,
Yeah.
but every good book needs an antagonist. One of the most interesting things I found that these boys came into the book knowing what was at stake, their
Yeah.
lives,
Like you
came
have a
into the book.
1% chance of
Literally.
living.
1 out of 100. The
Yeah.
chances get better maybe down the line, but
Well,
they come into this knowing what's at stake. They come into this knowing what's at stake, and throughout the book, because they don't tell you right away, you have to wait to learn what their reasonings is for
yeah.
choosing the loss of their life,
Yeah.
potentially. One thing we forgot to mention, the big thing at the end, the prize.
Yeah.
They never tell you what the prize is. The boys just assume it's riches
Yeah.
and it's a wish that
You would think it's cash money or
you would think
something.
it's
You
cash
would
money or
think,
something, but most of the time I feel like it's just an illusion, whatever the boys can kind of come up with, because
hmm,
they just tell them, "Oh, we grant your wish."
yeah,
And that's what they sign up to walk for.
right.
So you really have to sit in it as you're kind of going through
Hmm.
the story overall.
Hmm.
So that's general background right there about it. Initial
Yeah.
thoughts?
Um, I agree. But I was about to say the one thing that I noticed, well, that I feel like I noticed before they really started somewhat getting into their stories in the book version was all the talk about women,
Mm,
all the
yes.
degrading about women.
Yes.
You
Yes, yes,
know,
yes.
their thoughts, women on the side of the road, past stories, and I'm just like, I don't remember reading any degrading moments about women like this in other Stephen King books. I was just like, oh, it's kind of to be a woman. I'm kind of a little mm, unsettled, a little bit.
I would definitely that was one of my least favorite parts, I will say,
Yeah,
about the book overall, because it's super sensationalized.
yeah,
Just the whole aspect of it all and everything that the boys go through throughout the book. But I guess we'll hop into kind of like dislikes at this point. That was
yeah,
my main dislike.
yeah.
That was what first dislike was how long the chapters were.
So long. So both of us listened to it, right? Okay, I understand. I do have the physical copy here with us, and I think I got to page 10, and I don't know, something in my spirit told me to just get it on Audible,
Hmm.
and
I
I'm
listened to it as well.
I'm glad I did. It was the only way I could finish it. But anyways, yeah, long chapters because like listening to it, the chapters like they were between like 35 and 50 minutes.
Yes.
And that's a
Very
long
long.
time for
Very
a
long.
chapter. And I mean, it can't be that much happening. All you're doing is just walking
Hmm.
with a bunch of boys, and you just kind of you're listening to listening to them shoot the shit.
Hmm.
Um, and then you're listening to some of their backstories, kind of, sort of. So it's just kind of like
Yeah.
it's hard to like keep your attention, hard to like kind of keep up with exactly like
Facts.
where it's going. I wasn't really a fan of the narrator, honestly.
I was not a fan of the narrator either.
I,
Overall, I do agree. The book was a hard read,
yeah,
mainly because those chapters are so long and drawn out.
yeah,
I do know Stephen King wrote this one when he was 19 years old.
right, yeah.
I have a feeling that obviously, since he was still green back then, that probably played into the length of the chapters
Mhm.
and a lot of the subject matter,
Yeah.
a lot of the talk about the specific conversations about women that the boys had. It gave teenager. It gave
Yeah.
teenager. Um,
Like teenager just lost my virginity or eager to lose my virginity.
a
Like that
100%.
age. Yeah.
One hundred
Yeah.
percent. So I will 100% cut him some slack for that. I
Yeah.
will do that. Did I like it? No.
Yeah.
But that's my big thing. I guess it also just kind of ties back around. I maybe it was him trying to be ambiguous, allow
Mhm.
the reader to kind of create their own endings or reasonings for some of the characters is
Mhm.
the lack of reasoning for a lot of the characters to do the long walk.
Yeah.
Garrity being our lead, he didn't really have a reason. He had
Yeah.
a mother, he had a girlfriend, and he
Mhm.
still chose to hop into the long walk. Why? It was never really fully unraveled. It was never really a good, concise reasoning.
Versus in the movie.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing reasoning.
in the movie, basically his father was taken out of his house and killed right there in front of his mom
Mm-hmm.
and him. And if I'm not mistaken, it was the major of the book or of the story, who killed his dad. So
Mm-hmm.
his plan is to, get through the long walk, get his last wish, get the gun, and kill the major.
Correct.
So clear reasoning right there and there in the movie, but in the book you don't really get that.
And it also just made it more impactful. It gave Garrity a reason to do this long walk, a
Yeah.
good one, even though I will say it is for vengeance,
Hmm.
which isn't always the best reasoning, but man, it makes for a good ass fucking storyline.
Right.
Vengeance is always a good ass storyline, but I digress. Now, other boys, okay, they were clear. Art Baker, he was there for the money, and that's totally fine
Yeah.
because money can change people's lives. We just, maybe for the best, maybe for the worst, but money can change people's lives. McVrees, I like the reasoning they gave him in the movie
Yeah.
over the book. McVrees' reason primarily for the money as well
Yeah.
in the book. So again, we're not getting much into depth in the book over that reason, but we're getting way into depth about
Yeah.
detail oriented things about like the flavors of the tubes, but
Hmm.
we needed more depth in the boys' reasonings.
We did.
And I feel like he could have given more on the boys' backstories, if I'm being honest, in the book. The backstories in the movie, phenomenal.
Even in the movie though, like we saw like a couple flashbacks
Hmm.
into Ray's world,
Yeah.
like and like two or three maybe. But it would have been nice to see maybe a little bit more about his. It would have been nice to see maybe some like flashbacks or hear about flashbacks if you're gonna actually read the book
Hmm.
of other guys, like instead of literally just the walk itself and they're talking
I
about it
can agree with that. Yeah.
like a visual into their background if you're reading
Facts.
the movie, or I don't know, maybe like a quick short chapter and cut out some of the unnecessary chapters
Mm,
about some of the other main characters background.
hmm. I am very thankful they completely changed McVree's background for the movie
Yeah.
because the background in the book, it came down to the scar. Because,
Yeah.
yeah. And I like that in the movie, they ended up making him just the poor, orphaned
Hmm.
guy with who's been walking all his life. That's kind of like the lines they use. I've been walking all my life, Garrity.
Right.
As opposed to the book, McReeves got the scar off of an altercation, potentially ambiguously, the reader gets to decide, assaulting his girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Stephen writes a lot of these characters with such shitty traits in the book.
Yeah.
Such shitty traits in the book. And that's why the movie, I feel like, really amplified these boys. We still
Hmm.
had Barkovich being a fucking asshole. We had
Yeah,
Stebbins.
he was an asshole in the book, he was an asshole in the movie.
Yes.
Yes.
He had a gnarly death, though.
So
Gnarly.
the thing about these deaths, so I mean, which I knew, if you get your three warnings or whatever and you're executed, like you're executed, you die. I'm just gonna assume that you're shot. um and they'll tell you, in the book, for most people's deaths, when someone gets knocked off and everything. But in the movie, when I watched the movie and I watched the very first death, I think the guy had a Charlie horse.
Yes,
And I
Curly.
think after, getting the Charlie horse and, kind of like fall down, you can't really move or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they blew it. They blew his brains out,
Oh,
pretty
yes,
much.
they did.
Like you couldn't just shoot him somewhere else. It just had to be through the head. And,
No.
and you can see that like I'm pretty sure they zoomed in on his face. You see the blood go through. You see his face kind of decay. You hear the blood gushing.
Mm-hmm.
And from then on, which I mean, I guess I shouldn't have been that surprised. I don't know. I don't know why I didn't expect the movie to be that gruesome, but it was.
I know why it was.
But that's the why, because of Stephen King.
Stephen said one thing, drop the miles per hour to 3 miles per hour. And the second thing, you have to show the
Oh,
kids being shot.
in the interview,
Yeah.
okay.
You have to show the kids being shot.
I turned my head at every
Mm-hmm.
part when someone was about to be shot, because they usually kind of played that suspenseful sound when
Yeah.
they were about to be shot, so I knew when to turn my head. Just like, if I see a spider in the movie, or if I know if it's coming, I'm gonna turn my head. Might even
Mm-hmm.
leave. Could leave this. But I just turned
100%.
my head every time that somebody's about to be shot, because I just didn't want to see that. No matter how they were gonna,
I was
where they were gonna be
watching.
shot, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
I had my glasses on, people.
And I watched this in broad daylight, which I'm so glad I couldn't. That couldn't be the last thing I watched before I go to bed.
I watch it at 8 o'clock at night. I
Mm.
am into the dystopian. I'm also into like gory stuff. So My biggest thing was the way Curly was the first death both in book and movie. I do feel like
Yeah.
a lot, even though they changed a lot in the movie, the dialogue in it stayed pretty freaking accurate.
Yeah.
Pretty accurate. They did give some characteristics to other characters. They
Mhm.
completely cut Scram out of the movie, but he was a huge part in the book. I digress. The big thing with Curly being the first death in the book, that set the tone for the boys. That woke them up quick.
Yeah.
Watching it though,
Mhm.
I knew it was coming. I
Yeah.
knew it was him, but watching it changed everything. Actually seeing the boys, the young looking boys go and you know,
Yeah.
that that made an impact to me. That's why I really recommend seeing the movie. The movie is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It helps put a lot of, even though there are some differences in the book and movie, it helps put a lot of pieces together for you though, just in general.
Correct. Yeah.
But Olsen's death, I don't know. When I when I listened to Olsen's death, um, I don't know if it's just because half of that specific chapter was about his death, and I don't know. I
It
felt
was.
like I just like really felt it. But when you watch the movie, I'm not saying it was quick, but it wasn't as much emphasis put on his death as it
They
was in
I'm
the book. I feel
shocked.
like,
Oh yeah, in the book it was way gorier.
yeah,
100%. I'm surprised with as much detail that they put into the movie that they
they didn't stay on that part as long
shortened.
as you would think.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the
Mhm.
book, Olson's death, this man, after being shot in the stomach, he stands right back up and starts walking, holding his intestines in his hand. They're spilling out of his gut.
But they didn't do that at all in the movie.
No, and I'm shocked. I
Yeah.
am shocked. But
Actually, I
I
think he
digress.
died sooner in the movie, quote
He died
unquote.
quicker. I mean, they kept shooting at him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in the book, they also just kept shooting at him because he went for a guard. He went for a guard. He went for a carabiner.
Yeah.
So touche.
Yeah.
I get why they kept shooting. But the fact that he stood back up and started walking,
Yeah.
I anticipated to see that in the movie.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I do like that Art ran back to him though.
Yeah.
I appreciated that, and that was a really nice moment. Very suspenseful, but
Yeah.
that was a Art Baker is probably the sweetest of the
He
characters.
was sweet.
He is such a sweetheart, and I'm happy they put one of those characters in because with such a awful, I guess, time in their lives, or I mean, they knew
Yeah.
what they were getting into. If we're being honest,
Yeah.
it's always good to have a variety of characters, and Art being the sweet, kind one. That's
Mhm.
just he's just here. I appreciated having that character to kind of soften the blow.
That was Dog Tag, right?
That was Dog Tag in the movie, yes.
So it was so sad. I guess in the book and the movie, when you can kind of tell that you know whoever's time was coming up, and they were doing their best to carry Art as far as they can, and they were just kind of like
While he was hemorrhaging.
yeah, like they didn't mention his dog tag that he had around his neck in the book, but they did in the
Yeah.
movie, and they was just
Yeah.
like, can you make sure my grandma gets his dog tag?
Mhm.
Whoever survives the long walk. But in the book and the movie, both he was like, I have another favor of you boys. Can you not watch when it happens?
Yeah.
Can you not watch when it happens? But yeah, eventually, he pulls away. They're trying to, hold him, keep him together. They've kind of formed a brotherhood at this point.
Yeah.
But they, yeah, he got down on his knees. I think one shot he was gone. But I mean, and that shook the boys. Still walking ahead in the book and movie. I feel like it shook the
Yes.
boys. I don't know. That one's really sad too. That
One
was
was
sad
super
to
sad.
that was sad to hear, but it was sad to watch too.
Baker came
I
in
don't know.
fourth. He came in fourth in the book, and yeah, he came in fourth in both book
I
and
think
movie.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think in the movie, I mean, I guess in the book and movie, it was Stevens, McReeves, and Ray. They were the last
Three.
three.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Yep. I don't know. I guess overall, the book is a really good. The book could have been better if Stephen had decided to make it more about the brotherhood,
Mm-hmm.
like in the movie, as opposed to kind of just.
Check the mouse.
All right,
And we're back.
and we're back. Sorry, the cameras pause. I guess overall, I feel like if Stephen had decided to make it based more around the brotherhood, which he tried to,
Mm-hmm.
but with some of these characters are so unlikable, if I'm being honest, in the book. They're
Yeah.
very likable in the movie,
Yeah.
but they are unlikable in the book, and I think it comes down to how he makes their relationships with the women around them. And granted,
Mhm.
I do understand the realm of locker room talk and how that's a guy thing and things like that. But I feel like when choosing to write certain things for certain characters,
Yeah.
there are choices. There are choices. The locker room talk could have 100% been there because in the movie, when it came to like Hank Olsen, oh, I'm going to ask for 10 naked ladies, everyone got a key out of that.
Right.
But overall, the movie did focus and base itself more around the brotherhood and
Mhm.
the will to live and no matter the circumstances, in the end,
Mhm.
friendship and people may be all that matters. At least that's what I got from the book and
Yeah.
the movie, even though it was much better portrayed personally in the movie. 100% for me.
It's just so sad to just know, that the boys know, my time is coming.
Mhm.
They're so young, under 20. I'm sure all of them were
Yeah.
under
In the
20.
movie, yes. In the movie, I think it's 13 to 18. No, no, sorry. In the book,
Mm.
it's 13 to 18. And in the movie, I think they aged them up. I think it's 18 to 20. They didn't
Yeah.
do the 13-year-old stuff.
But regardless, like, you haven't you don't have more than you haven't been here more than 20 years and you already
Mm-hmm.
see the end. You see like you know the end's coming. They know the end's coming. You can see it on their faces or you
Yep.
can hear it in their voices.
Yep.
Like their demise is coming. They know their demise is coming. That's just so sad. They're just too young. It's just so sad.
And you know something, even though this wasn't my favorite
Now it's a fucked up book.
book,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I don't mind this. I'm into dystopian type shit. I'm Hunger Games down, trust me. But my thing is, I don't mind the subject matter. I guess it comes down to how you write about it.
Yeah.
But overall, I see where he was going with this. And
Mhm.
since I know a little bit of the history of when he wrote this, I do comprehend in his lifetime and how he chose to depict it. Because I know it was roughly around a little after the Vietnam War, I believe.
Mhm.
And I was reading that he kind of did this in like a nod to boys going off to war because
Yeah.
this is very similar. Boys go off to war expecting
To not return.
to not return a lot
Yeah.
of the time. Some hope,
Yeah.
and I appreciate the gist of the writing. I think if he were to write this book now, it
Yeah.
would be amazing. It would be fantastic
With a better ending.
with possibly a better ending. Yeah. Do we want to spoil the ending? I think screw it. Why not?
Right. Turn the episode off if you don't want to spoil. um
It'd be fine. Y'all be fine. Go watch the movie.
that's the thing. Good thing she said that. It's two different endings. So the book ending, it's between Ray Garrity and Stebbins.
Hmm.
Stebbins dies, Ray wins, kind of. Because unless I'm forgetting something, he won, the fireworks went off, wooty woo, and they're asking him, what his final wish is. And
Hmm.
then he just kind of like goes off towards this dark thing. Um,
Yeah.
and then the audible credits kind of came on.
Yeah.
And
I I
it
feel
was like
like
the last 4 minutes of the book. That was it.
that's one thing. I will say this. I haven't read Stephen King, but I've seen The Mist, and I know they changed the ending to that one. But
Mm. They did it with The Shining too, I think.
see,
Yeah.
I feel like Stephen King likes to leave open-ended endings. It just
Yeah.
allows the reader to wander in their mind about, well, what happened? Where did he go? Maybe he died.
Yeah.
So I can understand why he chose this. I would
Yeah.
have liked a more absolute ending,
Yeah.
but I understand the decision that was made. Wasn't crazy about it, but I get it. I get it.
But versus the movie,
Oh, so
it
much
wasn't it
better.
wasn't Stebbins and Ray Garrity. It was Ray Garrity and Peter McGreeves.
Mm-hmm.
And in that ending, I mean, I feel like they probably could have withstood the walk a little longer, both of them. But McGreeves was gonna let Ray have it. Ray was like, "Nope, you're gonna keep walking with me for a little longer, buddy."
Mm-hmm.
And then they were walking, and then Ray lets McReeves go. McReeves is talking, and I think he probably the things raised to the side of him, or maybe just like a step or two behind him. But at
Mm-hmm.
that point, Ray dropped down already, and they were already both on their third warning. And he says, "Tell my mom I'm sorry." He turns around and he's like, "No," and then Ray's
Mm-hmm.
gone. McReeves wins. He's in tears. To see his brother, best friend in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So fireworks are going off and everything. Major comes over, gives him his last wish, and he wishes for I don't know what they were calling the gun something else, but the guns that the
Carabiner, yeah.
oh yeah that the soldiers were
I don't know
using,
why.
and
I don't know much about guns though, so touche.
and he fulfilled Ray's last wish to kill the major, and then he kept walking, I guess, to
Yes.
live his life,
Mm.
which I think that ending was more it was more clear.
It was more concise.
It was an
It still,
actual ending.
yeah, stayed a little ambiguous because well, I don't know where he was planning on going,
Yeah.
but it gave us
Yeah, you
more of a
yeah, you can
concise
still
ending.
draw your own conclusions from that, but from the
100%
book it's just kind of like
open ended.
you made me read all this and you leave me like it wasn't even a cliffhanger. I'm gone. I'm off the cliff.
Ray ran. That's all I know in the
Yeah.
book. One thing about the movie that I appreciated is it gave you more of a moral. It gave you the boys' reasoning.
Yeah.
The boys' reasoning. And I feel like that's one of the reasons that the book fell off. They didn't have good enough reasons to be on a death walk, per
Yeah.
se. In the movie, Ray's reasoning was he watched his father get dragged out of his home. So, I guess in a militarized, very government authoritarian society.
Mhm.
Sound familiar?
Mm, mm, mhm.
We live in an
Oh
okay.
yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Life as we know it.
Life as we know it. They do things because I remember they mentioned it in the book. They he would let Garrity read banned books and banned medias and things like that. Once the military caught up, the government caught up with that his father was technically still had these possessions. They gave him the option, you know, condemn yourself
Right.
and ask for forgiveness or die. And obviously,
He chose death.
he chose death over lying about the truth and the existence, etc.
Because I think he told, what did he tell Ray before he died? Never forget, never lose your true self, or
I think that's what he
something like
said.
that.
Something like
Yeah,
that. I think it might have been honestly exactly that.
yeah.
Maybe a couple words here and there, but I think it was never lose your true self. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that's correct.
Yeah.
McVreeze's reasoning was he said it himself. I've been walking my whole life. He knew that,
He lost his mom and dad at a young
yeah,
age.
exactly. This was all he had. So why not? Does
Yeah,
his life truly matter? But one of his big things when talking about what are we planning on doing with the money?
yeah.
Because that was what everyone assumed was the big prize.
Which is
What
what
are
I
you
would
doing
assume
with
that
the
too.
money?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Mm-hmm.
assume, I would hope, Jesus, because
Yeah.
most of these boys, all of these boys are poor.
Mm-hmm.
But what would you do with the prize? Garrity didn't have a concise answer. He just
Yeah.
knew he was on this walk for revenge.
Right.
McVreeze was on this walk and he claimed to, well, with the money, I think I might help some of the boys and the girls at the orphanage that I was at in the
Yeah.
foster care system and things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So that's the amazing thing because again, McVreeze's little bit of life story we got wasn't very appealing. It made him sound like a bad person, if I'm
Yeah.
being like doing some fuck shit, if I'm being honest. So McVreeze's reasoning was so much better.
Mm-hmm.
McVreeze encouraged Garrity, don't do this out of revenge. Find something better. You have a mom.
Yeah.
Girlfriend is X out of the movie. You have a mom. You have somebody to go
Jane wasn't
back to.
in it at
Oh,
all.
Jan, no,
At all.
Jan, they said we broke up and that was it. They kept
Yeah.
rolling, they kept walking, which is fine because all in all, they took a lot of the sexual innuendos and things like that out of the movie, which I feel like made it much better.
Yeah.
100%. But I feel like Garrity decided in the end to take that knee and allow McVreeze to pursue is because in the end, Garrity knew that his revenge was not worth more than McVree's life. And I really appreciated that about the movie.
Yeah.
That's what made the movie for me because the brotherhood storyline was worth it every step of the way. And you knew
Yeah.
this was going to end up bad.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that ending over the ending that we got because from
Yeah.
the beginning of this book, we could have assumed Garrity would be probably either second or
Yeah.
first.
You're gonna assume the protagonist
Mhm.
is
But again,
gonna
it just
win.
lacks
Yeah.
substance in the book. He didn't give the boys enough credit, enough substance.
Yeah. And it's like, and the book wasn't even that long.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It was, it wasn't long, but
Nope.
it didn't have substance either.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I guess that ultimately, again, I will give him the credit because this man wrote this at 19.
Yeah.
So I will give him that credit. And because, I mean,
It's
right?
true. It's more than what I could have wrote at 19.
Yeah, facts. So, yeah, again, if he had written this now,
Mm-hmm.
it would have been a wild read.
Yeah.
I bet. So, yeah.
What's your final rating for The
The
Long Walk
book,
overall? Or yeah, book, movie, and then overall.
I'll give it a 3.5. And I rate things high all the time. I'll give it a
Okay.
3.5 only because it was a hard read. A
Mhm.
lot of the characters I feel were a little unlikable.
Mhm.
The chapters could have been shortened,
Mhm.
less descriptive. I like description, but a little less descriptive personally.
Mhm.
And give the boys a little bit more substance.
Yeah.
Give them more credit.
Mhm.
Because obviously, teenage boys are going to be horny.
Yeah.
There was a lot of horniness in this book. But these boys are on their death walk. We have
Yeah.
to give them more credit than that,
Yeah.
I feel. Which they did in the movie. Movie way better.
Yeah.
So yeah. What is your rating?
If I had to rate the book, it'll be like maybe 1.5, 2 stars, depending on
Yeah.
how generous I'm feeling. I'll never read the book again. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not the type of person to read something twice unless
Mhm.
I just have to. But you don't have to worry about me reading this again.
Yeah.
Wasn't for me. Too long, not
It
enough
was very long.
substance. Yeah, just no. Now the movie, not gonna watch that again either. I'm not a movie person, so there's that. And I don't like. Um, I really only like rom-coms, honestly, which is
Understandable.
not
They're
this. So I
fun.
would watch it again. But the movie, for what it's worth, it was really good, and I'd give it a 4 out of 5.
Out of 5?
So if I have to average the two, is that like 3.5 stars
I
as
would
well?
say so. I guess for me, the movie, I would rate it out of 10, though. I don't know why I feel like movies are out of 10, books are out
Oh,
of 5. I don't know
well,
mentally.
if I did out of 10, I'd say 8 then. 8 out of
Oh,
10.
that's high. That's really
8
high.
out of 10. I like the movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
4 out
I'm
of
not
5.
gonna watch it again because, like I said,
Yeah.
I don't like movies like that.
I was sad, baby. I was sad. They started shooting kids. Oh my God. I was
Yeah, I was just
sad.
like, I mean, and I wasn't surprised, but I don't know.
I
Wasn't there
guess
for it.
I would rate the movie. I would rate the movie a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
9 out of 10. But again, I'm a movie person
Mhm.
and I like dystopian and all the changes were the right changes to be made
Yeah.
personally. Other than taking out Scram, that was I won't digress. But yes. So yeah, overall, that is our long walk discussion.
Pretty much. So
That was a pretty long discussion. I feel like this might have been one of the longer discussions we've had.
I was about to say, so I don't think it would have been as long if we didn't go watch the movie. But having the
True,
movie that
true.
was also that was good,
Mm-hmm.
but then also having that comparison, I think, and it kind of helped paint a little bit of a picture that the book didn't paint for us.
Facts.
So
That's
that's
true.
probably why it was a little longer. But yeah,
I like it
really
though.
good,
I like it.
really
Shout
good
out.
discussion.
That was a real good discussion. All right. Wrap it up. Or should I wrap it up?
You can wrap it up.
I will wrap it up. How do we do that? I forget.
Um,
Thank you for coming.
I just want to thank. I don't know.
I just want to thank my mom. No. All right. So we're going to wrap it up real quick. My name is Kim.
And I'm Court.
And this is your husband's podcast.
Please make sure the husband tell your husband.
Yeah,
Tell your husband.
Tell your husband
that we
said hi.
Hi. Bye,
That's going to be a
guys.
weird one to edit. Bye.